Welcome to my YouTube channel. This is Michael Mastro. Today we're going to look at the legendary broadcaster uh, Larry King, and we're going to look at and see why he was so admired and successful as an interviewer, as a broadcaster. First, we're going to look at and see how the planets are operating in his chart. Then we'll see when they're operating during different events, and then we'll look at what could have been remedies. Um, so first, if we look to the eastern horizon when he was born, you see the constellation associated with Sagittarius rising at 23 degrees. 23 degrees becomes the most effective point of every house, and any planets like Saturn or like Jupiter or Venus that are within 5 degrees of that 23 degree rising sign have a lot of impact in the chart. So, first, we're going to see what he came here to work on in this lifetime, what lessons he came here to learn. And we can tell that by looking at the houses that contain Multicona signs. So, many planets rule two signs. However, only one of those planets is a Multicona sign, the sign that's most closely linked to that particular sign. So, for example, Venus rules Taurus, which is in the seventh house, and Venus, which is in the 11th house, Libra. So, Venus itself signifies relationships, and so does Libra. So it's more closely aligned to Libra than it is to Taurus. So the Multicona signs are 1, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, and 11. So let's see where they're located in these houses. The first sign of Aries is located in the 5th house of intelligence, creativity. He's learning about how to be creative, how to be an entertainer. This is the house of entertainment, children, investments, and educating others in his field. Then we have the 4th sign of Cancer located in the 8th house. Any Multicona sign located in the 6th, the 8th, or the 12th house, the challenging houses, can cause harm in the chart. So Cancer ruled by Moon can cause some issues either in the natal chart or the transit chart if it is within 5 degrees by aspect or conjunction with a house or a planet. So this house has to do with transformations, and for Sagittarius, this is the house that has to do with relationships and the stability of those relationships. He was married 8 times, and this house also has to do with research into, in his case, it was be research into the guests that he interviewed. Then we have the 5th sign of Leo, ruled by Sun in the 9th house. 9th house has to do with government, belief systems, and good luck or good fortune. So he had a lot of good luck and good fortune. He was an agnostic, born into a Jewish, very Orthodox Jewish family, but became an agnostic. Then we have the 6th sign of Virgo in the house of career. So he's learning how to perfect his career, which he had a long, very long, 40-year or more successful career. And in the 11th house we have Libra, ruled by Venus. So this is the house of income and social connections, very much into connecting with other people, had a lot of friends, very devoted friends, and he was a devoted friend. Then we have the ninth sign of Sagittarius, ruled by Jupiter in that first house, making me very much focused on what he came here to do in this lifetime. And he, in an interview, said that if he could help people rejoice in the good times and get through the sad times through his interviews, and that would be truly, he had fulfilled his life purpose, which he did. Then we have the 11th sign of Aquarius in the house, a third house of success through performing arts. So this is all about communication, and it's ruled by Saturn. So it gives him that success through his communication, his interviews, his broadcasting career. So now we'll look and see how the planets are operating in the chart. Sun is at 3 degrees, ruling that house of good fortune. And his dad died. Their son represents his father, and his dad died at a very young. He was only 10 years old when his father died, and that had a big impact on him. And as I said before, he became an agnostic, but a lot of good fortune in his life with meeting people. Sun is placed in the 12th house, which can cause some issues. Father in the 12th house, that's end of life. So probably this had a big impact here. Now, any planet that's less than 5 degrees or greater than 25 degrees is said to be an infant or old age state, and it cannot protect or promote its own significations. So definitely, Sun is also related to heart condition, and he had serious heart issues. In fact, his father also died of a heart attack, so he had several heart attacks and a quadruple bypass as well. Moon is at 1 degree, and it is again ruling this house, the eighth house of challenges, um, and helps him, go deep into the meaning of life. And when he's talking to his interviewing different people, he really did explore the deeper meaning of life with those people. Very inquisitive, curious person. Um, but it's very weak at only 1 degree and can cause some challenges, and it's also afflicted by Saturn. Afflicted by K2. So it can cause some unexpected events. Moon is also related to heart, and it's in this heart, this house that is related to prostate. He had prostate cancer. Moon is also lungs, so he had lung cancer as well. And this house, again, is related to relationships. Very much a lot of drama in relationships. In fact, he did have 8 marriages. So Mars is at 7 degrees. Mars rules this house of intellect, intelligence. He was said to be a Mensa, which is a very high functioning intelligence. And this is also the house of entertainment. So he was, definitely entertaining in the way that he interviewed people. It's the house of um, children as well. And then this house has to do with pancreas, and he did have diabetes as well. Mercury's at 2 degrees. It's weak. It's less than 5 degrees, so it's said to be in an infant state. It rules his house of career, and it's placed in the 12th house. So again, this 12th house is said to be the house of enlightenment through letting go of attachments, through letting go of patterns, patterns that hold us back from being free. And so I'd say Mercury itself has to do with communications. And I think communications and interviewing people on a very deeper, more spiritual level. Um, Made him very successful in his career. Jupiter's at 21 degrees, close to the most effective point, the rising sign degree, so it gives it a lot of emphasis in his life, a lot of impact. It's ruling this house of life purpose and longevity, so he did live to 87 years old, quite a long life, even though he had a lot of different health issues. So he gave him a strong life purpose to interview other people and help his audience learn from the successes and failures of the people he was interviewing on a very deep level. And Jupiter is placed in his career house, so it gives it even more connection to his life purpose. Basically, Jupiter is the guru, the teacher. So in essence, as he would interview people, it was teaching people about the ups and downs in life and how people got through certain challenges and how they rose to the pinnacle of their careers. Venus is at 21 degrees, again close to the most effective point, having a lot of emphasis in his life. And it's ruling the house of income and social connections, fulfillment of desires, and friends. Friends were very, very important to him. He met up with friends every day for breakfast, it said, to be in a deli in LA, and a lot of dinner engagements. So Venus is placed in that first house of life purpose and longevity. And Venus also is an indicator for, or represents, wife. So I think he had this life purpose, this income through social connections that he had, and the people that he interviewed, and through his wives, which probably kept him alive and young. Saturn is at 17 degrees, close to, also just barely close to the most effective point, and it's ruling the house of success through performing arts or communication in his case. Um, and It's placed in the house of wealth and reputation. Quite a wealthy man, quite a lot of fame in his life for interviewing so many famous people. Rahu and Ketu. So Rahu gives desire for success in his communication skills, his interview skills, and Ketu gives. If you say Rahu is craving, K2 is version to belief systems, so more of an agnostic. Now, let's look at the timing of events. So his dad died in 1944 during a sun period, sun representing father, placed in the house of end of life. Then we have his first announcing job or broadcasting job in 1957 during a Mercury period. Mercury, again, career, starting of his career. In 1978, he said to have his worst year, he had to file for bankruptcy during a Mercury period, so his career wasn't working very well. And that's placed in the 12th house of losses and expenses, bankruptcy. Then he got his big break for CNN in 1985, which lasted for many years during a Jupiter period. Again, Jupiter connected to life purpose and career, placed in the house of career. 87, he had a heart attack and a quadruple bypass during a Rahu period. So Rahu causing inflammation, unexpected events. And then we have then his kids died in 2020, and he died in 2021 of COVID, and probably other things as well. They haven't revealed that. So let's look at that transit chart for the period where he passed away. May he rest in peace. So here in this circular chart, you have where the planets were when he was born, the natal chart in the center circle, and the outer circle is where the planets were at the time of death. And what's really interesting to note is his rising sign degree is almost 24 degrees, and at the time he passed, Rahu and Ketu were at 24 degrees. So that means Rahu and Ketu afflict 5, 7, and 9 houses away at the most effective point of every house. So Rahu is afflicting his house of health, and also Ketu is afflicting his house of end of life, and then Ketu is also afflicting the eighth house of death-like experiences. So many, many, many things going on there at the same time. Um, So let's think about what could he have done to strengthen this chart. Maybe had less health issues because he's a very successful guy. I think his big successes come through Mars, his intelligence, his ability to entertain. Mars is in its own sign, which gives it a lot of strength. And then also, I think Saturn was also giving great success. Um, and then we'll look at the other planets that need some strengthening would be Sun, because his father died very young, and it gave him some heart trouble. So we want to strengthen Sun, and we want to strengthen, let's see, Mercury as well. Mercury could have helped him avoid the bankruptcy possibly, and even boosted his career even more. Um, so we could do that through wearing an emerald, and red coral, or a kavash, a locket containing the Devata yantra for Mars and Mercury, and we would also be um, strengthening his other benefic planets as well. And then we want to not strengthen his challenging planets, Rahu, Ketu, and Moon. So Rahu could be strengthened by helping people. He did have a charitable organization where he helped people who couldn't have hearts be able to afford heart surgery after his first heart attack, and then K2 helping spiritual organizations, and then also Moon helping women, um, and then sacred chants for Rahu, which would be Shiva chants, K2 would be Ganesh chants, and for Moon would be Lakshmi chants. So they're the things that could very much um, improve the quality of his chart. So thank you guys for listening. Hope you enjoyed this. If you're interested in getting a reading, you can go to vastucreations.com under services. There's several astrology readings. Or if you would like to learn transformational Vedic astrology, you can go to American Institute of Vastu.com, and under astrology, there's two levels. One, learning astrology to help yourself and your friends, and then a level 2 where you could actually get certified to use it as part of your profession, whether you're a life coach or whatever other healing modality you want to add that to in your bag of tools. Thanks again for listening. My name is Michael Mastro.